Hi, hello, hello. This is very last minute, so I'm not expecting anybody really to come on here because it is so last minute. So I figured that I would just talk to you guys and put up this video for you to like watch back later. But I just wanted to talk about how I afford to travel because I think the number one question I get is what visa are you on? How are you doing this? How do you travel so much? And so I just wanted to talk about how I afford to travel because I think that people don't realize how easy it is to travel and how it can be so incredibly like affordable to travel if you do it well, if you do it right, if you budget, if you save. And that is honestly basically, hello, hello. That is honestly the answer. Um, for those of you who are just coming on here, hello, hi, how are you doing? I am not expecting too many people to come on here because I literally just was like, I wanna go live. And so I just turned it on and just figured that I would answer the question that is in the title of how I can afford to travel, how I have made it possible. Hello again, Karen. How are you? Just how I have, yeah, how I've been able to make traveling something that is possible. I have lived in 10 countries, lived slash traveled to 10 different countries. I'm really extremely grateful. I feel so blessed to have traveled as much as I did, which is why I started this YouTube channel, which was only back in March. I had this YouTube channel throughout college, but I never was like, I was too scared. Like, I privated all the videos that I made when I was like little because they're embarrassing. But basically, I've always had like a travel bug. And so that is quite literally how I have been able to afford coming to Korea, how I've been able to afford a lot of my trips. Karen, thank you so much, girl. You did not have to do that. Thank you so, so, so much for that little sticker. Oh, it makes me so happy. Um, Paul, do you plan to live in Korea from now? Ted, hi. What did you have for lunch? I went to a pho noodle place. Delicious. Hello, Juliana. Hello, hello. I do plan to live in Korea for a year, 2, 3. I would love to stay. I don't want to leave. I really don't want to leave ever. But visa stuff has still been an issue. Thank you so much, love. Thank you so much. I call people love. Thank you so much for your love, Karen. um, but yeah, I really want to stay in Korea. It's just a matter of the right visa. Hello again. Is it Camille? Is that how I say it? You can say yes or no. If you say no, I'll try again. But yeah, I just the way that I have been able to travel so much, the way that I have seen the 10 countries that I have is solely because I work really hard in the States. I will save up as much as I can. I've also been very blessed financially. My parents have always helped me support my dreams, have helped me. Yeah, I had so many weird quirky things that I pursued growing up, whether it be, uh, like a I don't know, I would watch an infomercial and I would be like, "I want that. I want that right now." Um, oh, hi, Mishi. Hello again. Happy to see you again too. You don't pronounce the L, so it's Cami. Okay. Is that right, Cami? Hello, hello, hello. So yeah, so I basically work my butt off in the States and I spend a ton of my like life energy in working to save up so that I can travel. And again, my parents, also helped me. Like I studied abroad in London, and that was all because my parents are so gracious to again help me pursue things that I really want to. But then I've been to like Italy and Paris just with my friend because my friend wanted to go and she knows I like to travel. So I was like, sure, I save up to do this. And it's kind of sad that I just now am starting my YouTube channel because I have traveled so much and there was so many videos that I like think back on that would have been amazing. But the literally what I do, and I just want to encourage people who also want to travel because I feel like a lot of you want to travel, will travel. Maybe you use my channel as like an outlet to be like, man, I can't do that because maybe you're in a season of life where you can't. But I do encourage you that I think you can do it more than you realize. Korea, like Asian countries, are not, I'm not going to say that anywhere in the world is just like super, super cheap. Other than when I lived in China, that was, like, the cheapest I'd ever lived anywhere, but money can add up anywhere you go, so you can make a cheap lifestyle anywhere, and I think in Korea, I have just figured out kind of if you guys watch my most recent video, I don't only eat that in the morning, but it is an option that I'll, like, go buy, chicken breasts, like, I bought, like, a bulk pack of them. You can buy like this huge thing of eggs for like 5,000 won from the grocery store. And so I try to like have very small meals at home or like not small, but like cheap meals at home. And then I will go out and I will splurge and go to a cafe and just be like, you know what, this is going to make a great video and not care and just kind of go for it. Let me catch up on the comments. I do want to work in Korea. It's just kind of a matter of like, how is the best way for me to keep doing YouTube and be able to live here as well. I have a flight in August and I'm running out of patience and it's only December. I know you're like counting down the days. It'll fly by, but it'll also fly and it'll fly by, but it also is going to be like the slowest months of your life because you're just like, can it be August already? I'm already like, I remember thinking so many times before my trips I do buy my trips usually kinda last minute-ish, but the trips that I do plan out, it was like torture, so I feel you. You are a part of my motivation to visit and live there. Great info always. Thank you so much. Yeah, I hope I can be, inspiration and that you guys can kinda see, like, how I make it work here and, yeah, how I enjoy traveling, living abroad, and I honestly just I keep going back and forth, and the reason I keep going back and forth is I'll save up money one place and then go spend it somewhere else, and I'm really thankful that, yeah, I have this opportunity to do that, and now YouTube, I'm really glad I started YouTube because it is like a side job, I'm able to help more people and take all this knowledge and give it to somebody else, so hopefully I can help, like, ease your anxieties or stresses or questions. I was going to sleep when you started the live, it's 2:18. I never sleep. So, honestly, I'm just like, I would be doing the exact same thing. So, thank you, Juliana, for coming and saying hello. Your trip is planned for September. Oh, even a month longer. Can't wait to leave the Hyatt tomorrow and go to Seoul. Oh, you're in the Hyatt. What do you think of the Hyatt? How was like the lack of openable windows for you? Is that were you fine? Did you struggle like I did? October is a good month to yes, October is beautiful. Fall here is very short, so it's kind of like fall and also a lot of people don't come in fall because they don't have the opportunity. Because usually people will come over, like, their summer breaks or their winter breaks, so there's even more people here, so October is great because there's less people. Fall is beautiful. We love all the good fall vibes in both, like, aesthetics, like, the leaves are beautiful, but, like, people have just great outfits on, the fashion. I have I think ooh, it's hard to say. Spring and fall are the 2 best seasons, I believe, to come to Korea, but come whenever you can. I really loved fall. I really loved it here. How do you manage the bathing? Like, is the hot water available? So, hot water is a little confusing because it's kind of varied upon apartment. The apartment I'm currently staying in, there's like a little thing on the wall and it's like the floor heater. So a lot of the Korean apartments, the heat will come up through the floor. And that's like a good and bad thing. It makes a lot of the rooms super dry. And I hate that, but if you turn it all the way off, it might take you, like, forever for your water to get warm. It might never, ever get warm. You just need to turn it on, at least here. You just need to turn the system on, and then the hot water will come. It might take, like, like 30 seconds for it to get to the pipe, but it will come a-blazing here. It is like a centimeter difference between, like, kind of cold and, like, boiling lava, scalding hot, so that's fun, at least in this apartment, but everywhere I've had sometimes the apartment, it's like the whole apartment's almost, like, connected, and there's no individual it's kinda like a shared home, but I had my own room. I didn't have control of, like, the heating or anything like that, but I did have an AC, so if my room got too hot, I could turn that on, but hot water is usually available. It's usually not a problem. It's just, it's a matter of getting my shower to not burn me. That's the, like, the new task I have in this place I live right now. Da, 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 da. But I will say bathing in Korea a lot of Korean apartments, the bathroom is all tile, so it's, like, really cold. Like you sit down and like the toilet's cold and I'm always like freezing, like I'm shivering while I'm trying to shower. So it's not as enjoyable until it gets a little steamy and then we're good. Love your videos. I actually just landed in Korea on Monday. So exciting, Ryan. Welcome to Korea. I must admit, quarantine is not fun at all. How did you keep yourself from being bored to death? I actually specifically saved things for quarantine, and since you're already there, I would highly recommend that you come up with things. So, I don't know if you've ever been like a game person. Sorry, there's a lot of noise going on outside. I don't know if you've ever been like a game person or like a phone game person or like a computer game kind of person, but I would like splurge a little, buy some sort of phone game that you've never played before, maybe that you heard about if you're not a huge game person, maybe find like a different I don't know, I've never been like a documentary person, but like learning something, I enjoyed feeling like I was using my time wisely. So I actually got onto YouTube and I learned how to use Final Cut Pro. So I had never used Final Cut. I had attempted a little bit, but I was like, I'm gonna need to watch a lot of videos to figure this guy out. So I went onto YouTube and I just started like binge watching that and binge watching like how to I already did binge watch, but watching a lot of like how to run a YouTube channel well. So I would recommend splurging. I think you're worth splurging. Hi, Sammy. Hello, Melvin. And is it Anora? That's really beautiful. I love that name. So yeah, just finding new things that you can do to pass the time, enjoy to some ability, but feel like you're being productive. If you want to download Kindle, buy a book on Kindle and use your phone to do that, watch a completely new TV show, try to watch it with somebody else so you can discuss it, like a friend maybe overseas. It's difficult, but I think that splurging a little bit and maybe buying a game or doing something is worth it immensely. I hope that was helpful. Was super cheap when I got it, took advantage of it. I'm assuming you mean like your flight. That's awesome if you found a cheap flight. Hello, girl. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, Athena. Is it Athena? Tell me how to say your name because I love you and you were my first giveaway winner. I'll never forget you. So tell me how to say your name. And I'm sorry you're having a bad day. I hope today gets better, girl. I'm gonna say a prayer for you. How many quarantine places are there? Oh, I missed a few. I'm so sorry. It went da, 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 da. Don't have the opportunity to open the window. Yes, the window thing, but the hotel's okay so far, and the staff is so nice at the Hyatt. If you ever want to, like, change anything, you can call them. Like, towards the end of my stay at the Hyatt, I said, like, "Can I just have some fruit, please?" And they gave me fruit every single meal then on after. So call if you don't like fish. I called, they never gave me fish again. Staff is really good at like adjusting to your needs in the Hyatt. So take advantage of that. How many places are there to quarantine? Um, I want to say it's like 8 to 10 different hotels. I can't remember off the top. I think in one of my videos I put the list of them, but I can't remember off the top of my head which one it was. There's like 8 to 10 different options. They're all very different. But if you are very curious or more curious, you could binge a little bit and just put in like quarantine and kind of skip through videos and find the different places because there's a lot. There's a lot of them. Um, let's see. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Hello from Sacramento. Hello, Melvin. I'm a guru for your spring travel. I'm honored. I will be the guru all day, all day. Hey, lots of love from India. Keep making videos like this. Love you so much. Hello, love you so much as well. Thank you so much for the love. Hi, Sammy. How are you? Thank you. I'm glad that you like my baby. I am doing well. I am doing well. I'm a little sleepy, but that's okay. I don't need sleep. Coffee works just great. How are you, Sammy? Hello, Daniel. How are you? I'm reading, eating, and sleeping a lot during quarantine. Love to see it. Catch up on that sleep because you won't get any sleep once you leave quarantine. That's for sure. Ryan, do you know of any good resources of learning how to read and write Korean easily? Yes. Okay. Sorry, it's going to be a little shaky. We have you on a little bit of like a ratchet setup because my it's like my apartment, there's nowhere really good to put you, so you're currently on top of a suitcase, which is on top of a chair, which which is a great setup, right? I'm going to post a link to this is the app that I use every time I have a Korean question. I go to this app. It's called Tuida, I believe. That is like I reach out to them because I love them so much, and so that's like a referral code if you are interested in getting a discount, which who wouldn't? But they're free. You can download it for free and then kind of feel it out, see what it's like. That is the best way for me to just learn Korean in general. It's enjoyable. I think that if you enjoy learning Korean and you can figure out how to like speak Korean, the other stuff kind of falls a little bit more easily, at least for me, because you get familiar with how it sounds, you get familiar with how to speak it. And as far as like reading and writing, I just feel like you need to know the language well in order to be able to do the other stuff. Cause it's like yeah, for me, it's just easier to learn how to speak it. I get more familiar with it, so then reading and writing becomes more easy. That's just me. It's probably because just reading and writing doesn't click for me if I don't understand it. Like if I'm just copying pasting, it's like this isn't helping me at all. Talk to me in Korean as well. That is great. I made a really old video, Ryan. It's like from a while ago, but it talks about how I've learned Korean so far. It would be like, yeah, towards the bottom of the videos that I have not privated. I would recommend watching that because that has links to like how I learned Hangul, how I learned to write it. Um, and it links you to like a set of lists of other videos. So that would be a good video to watch. I used K dramas. That's how I really learned how to like read and write, especially as well, was uh, just, I guess, I want to become familiar with the language. And then the reading, the writing came after I became more familiar. So hopefully one of those resources is good. But those videos in that are listed in the description of my video is how I learned how to read it because I was reading the subtitles. Is dining alone really that bad? I don't want anyone to be scared of it. I yeah, I don't want anyone to be nervous, but it is a little intimidating because it is not the hole in the wall places are not really easy. The menu being up on there, you have to be able to read Hangul or have some familiarity with it. If you were to use Papago to like translate, like, what is that? It's not going to really help you as much as if you were to just go to Google, type in the dish, and then you'll see like a picture of it. That would be more helpful for you to do. It's just intimidating, I guess you could say. And it's one of those things where you just get used to it the more you do it. It's not bad. It's just yeah, some restaurants don't want you to come inside alone because it's just not a meal that would be for one person. It would be like a sharing meal, and so I just don't wanna look like an idiot. So it's not bad, it's just there's steps that you could take to make the experience easier, which is why I made that video about how to eat alone. So it's not that bad, it just is a bit intimidating. I've heard that now they will ask to have the booster shot to give the COVID pass. I have not heard anything about necessary booster shots. The only reason why the booster shot would be necessary is if you want to come back into Korea without quarantining, you have to have, as of right now, the needle has to go in your arm here in Korea at some point. So you could use the booster shot to allow you to leave and then come back without quarantining. But huge but, they just extended from my understanding, they just extended the, like, mandatory quarantine until, like, early January, so everybody has to quarantine, period, no matter what your vaccination status is, no matter what nationality you are, what your passport says, they just extended the mandatory quarantine. From my understanding, I have not done enough research. I just heard about it as I was like walking in the door. So I will do more research and I will obviously make an update video on that to give you guys more information whenever I figure it out. Okay, so you say Thea, Althea, but you go by Thea. Am I saying either of those right? You come on here a lot. I want to say your name properly. It's milk with a splash of coffee. Yes. It's true. Hey, wife just got a teaching job. Oh, so exciting. Congratulations to your wife. That's so exciting. In the last live, you mentioned that you have had a favorite area in Seoul lined up for with the best cafes. Yes. What is the name of that favorite area? Um, it is not just cafes, it is just like an overlook that has like bars, cafes, and it all overlooks this beautiful part of the city. I have a link to it in my phone that I sent somebody else, and I definitely would love to do a short video on it. And if you want to just message me, I can send you the actual link personally because that would be more exciting. 2-year contract. Exciting for your wife. Let's go. Let's go. Sorry, I'm a little behind on I'm always you guys know. If you've come to the live, I get behind on the comments, but I will answer all of them, I promise. Everybody hit the like button. Oh, that's so sweet of you. Yes, hit the like if you don't mind. That means it helps me out a lot. I'm glad to hear that you're well, Megan, and I'm good. Good, Sammy, good. Had a job trial today. Also, oh, exciting. How did your job go? And yes, it was my birthday. My birthday was the 12th, 12/12. Woo woo. I had a phenomenal birthday. I honestly, I feel so incredibly blessed because I've had a lot of bad birthdays. I have a lot of, yeah, maybe not so positive memories attached to my birthday since 2016-ish. There's been some hiccups along the way, I guess, bumps. So I am incredibly thankful to say that this past birthday was probably one of my favorite birthdays that I've had that I can remember. So I feel extremely, extremely grateful for, yeah, that and the people in my life right now. So it was amazing. I found really good community here in Seoul, and this church that I attend is the reason, yeah, why I can say that. So I'm very thankful. Thank you for asking so much. Happy birthday to me. I'm old. I'm not old. I'm getting older though. I'm never how old you guys think that I am. Um, that's the plan. Recharging my sleep level. Yes, and preparing for time. Yes, charge your battery, your internal battery as much as possible. I can speak Korean. I just can't read or write, and YouTube videos for some reason just isn't doing it for me. Yeah, that YouTube link series that I sent to you, that taught me how to like read and like pronounce Hangul. But I just really love that app that I sent you just because it's like a fun way to learn it. And if you already speak, maybe you won't think it's that exciting, but I feel like it used like good day to day. And since all the Hangul is on the screen, I actually will always turn off every app. I always turn off the romanization of Hangul because I think that your eye will get trained to reading that rather than learning how to pronounce Hangul. So always turn romanization off if you can, because that will help improve your Hangul, like reading and speaking, um, reading and writing skills so much if you're looking at just the Hangul, not the romanization. So normal day, how much would you spend? I plan to make a video kind of on this, on like how much I'm spending in a day. But for me, on a day where I'm being very conscious of what I'm spending, and I am again trying to spend the least amount of money so that I can go do content related things. You guys saw maybe if you saw my last video, I'm gonna spend probably around like, yeah, $2 to $3 for my first meal of the day, which is like breakfast slash lunch. I will most likely at some point in the day go out and get a cup of coffee because I have to edit in cafes. I can't edit in my house. I'm way too distracted here. So that cup of coffee, depending on which cafe I go to, I really love Idia, which is like to me, and thank you for the happy belated birthday wish, which is like it's not the best coffee. Like if you really like coffee, probably Idia isn't wouldn't be your favorite, but the Yonyu latte, which is a condensed milk latte, is so good. I feel like you can't really taste the coffee. I love it, and Idia is one of the cheaper coffee places around here, so that's gonna only cost me like maybe $3 rather than if I went to like Holly's Coffee or Starbucks. Those are gonna cost like 5, 6, $7, especially if you go to those reserves because you really like coffee. So so let's see. I've spent like, maybe $2 or $3 on the first meal. We spend another $2 or $3 on coffee, and then we're gonna probably go out to eat, or maybe I'm gonna meet up with a friend and we'll go to somewhere a little bit nicer to eat. I'm probably going to spend around 8,000 won if it's like a Korean jjigae, which is like what, around $6.50. And then if I want to spend something maybe a little bit nicer, we could end up spending 15 to 20,000 won. So if that was it, but honestly, usually, you go to another cafe because it's cafe culture, so there's another few dollars. So I would say I'm spending, and that's just on like food and survival, right? I'm spending like maybe 15 to $25 a day. If I'm getting like delivery food, the delivery fees can be kind of expensive from where I live. So that would increase it to maybe like $30 a day. And that's why I really like to eat at home when I can. Because it's just it can be so cheap. But then you have to take into consideration like rent and are you staying in an Airbnb? How cheap of an Airbnb do you want to stay in? Like you can find shared homes that are actually really good for like $7 a day, sometimes $15 a day. And that is like, bath, sleeping. You might have to share the bath, but like that includes all of that. You're not gonna have to pay any bills. So that's really not expensive when you're living in the heart of Seoul for that much amount of money. So Daiso also is like the target of here, super, super cheap, and hello, da bomb, hello, guys. Um, all the birthday wishes are so sweet, thank you guys so much. So, overall, Korea can be cheap if you're conscious. Am I using the right word? Conscious, you're thinking about it, you're cautious to not spend and, like, splurge too often, but it's not cheap. Like, I don't think Korea could be considered cheap when cafe culture is just, like, what you do, and cafes are not cheap because they basically can upcharge you since they know you'll come to, like, take pictures. You're gonna cafe hop, and that is not cheap either. The more aesthetic the cafe, the more expensive it gets because they can charge it because you have to come and buy something, which is why people will go to cafes and usually split something. Like everybody might get their own drink, but then they'll get one food to share or get a drink and a food to share. And they'll post a picture like it's them going by themselves, maybe because, it looks better. Uh, People will really splurge on these like cafe trips, but then they share. So it's cheaper so, again, I feel like Korea is way cheaper than living in America. Like public transportation, the fact that I can take this little bus near my house for less than a dollar, it's probably like 75 cents maybe for me to take that bus. And then the subway is like a dollar. And I can go across the entire town and maybe, there be some additional charges. But for like $2, the fact that I can go like so far and taxis even I can take a taxi for, like, 30 minutes and spend 10,000 won. It's just, like maybe 30 minutes would be, like, 20,000 won. But, like, either way, in America, if I were to drive 30 minutes in an Uber, that is expensive, like, I don't want to do it. I feel like people drink and drive more often in America because public transportation is just not cheap and it's not readily available. Here, I can spend a few dollars and take a taxi uh, 20 minutes and it's so much easier. So there are cheap things about Korea, but it is not cheap because the stuff that people are usually doing, which are like these cafe hoppings and stuff like that, that adds up. I'm spending like $10 at a cafe and I'm at home eating for $3. So if you're doing all the cafes, like that is where you're going to end up spending a lot of your money is on food and on cafes. So I got really behind in these little comments. So let me just quickly glance these over. Yeah, I do want the video is titled, "Is Korea affordable?" So that's why I'm kinda going on that tangent, and I will continue to talk about that in a second. Happy to help you guys. Yeah, find the video in the Korean language, that'll help you out. Korean barbecue for one person, you could attempt, because like, the portion size, you could just ask for, like, one person. It's just a little awkward, like, I've never seen a solo person at a Korean barbecue here. If I'm craving Korean barbecue it's kind of like it's just like a group thing. But if I am craving Korean barbecue, usually I will just order it. It's never good because it's never as good because it's not fresh. But I just would save Korean barbecue for friends. Like I know that people have turned people away at Korean barbecues if they try to go by themselves, or they make you eat for like two people's worth. Weather today is amazing. Beautiful outside right now. Can't wait to eat alone, to be honest. It is really nice. There's so many good places to go. I love eating by myself. Honestly, me, myself, and I, we just have our little moment, read my book. It's great. Get stared at. What is your major? I actually graduated college in 2016. I double majored in theater and middle childhood math science education. I pronounced it right. My booster shot had me in bed for 3 days. Oh my gosh. I heard the booster shot hits people the most, like, it is the worst. I'm so sorry. I'm glad you're feeling better, but woo, I've heard it's really bad. Does anybody else know, is your booster shot? I've heard that's, like, the worst of all the shots, is it takes you out. Have you ever been to that underground go-to mall? There are so many there's so much underground shopping here, so much underground shopping, and I have explored. I will say a lot of the underground shopping from what I have seen is a lot of free size, and I'm no free size. If you guys know what free size is the one size fits all kind of mentality with the clothing. A lot of Korean people have similar body structure, shape, right? So they can have what is called free size, which it's supposed to be you fit in this, and it is tiny. It's like t-shirts, maybe I could sometimes make it work, but, like, the bottom half, the skirts, the waist of these skirts is like my thigh. So, we don't fit no free size on the bottom half. So, that's the only reason why I'm not a huge, like, underground mall shopper, because I just don't really fit the clothing in the underground malls, which sucks, but I'm not even a huge shopper. I have to really save my money and be really cautious. I keep, like, cautious. I have to be really careful with how I spend. I can't really splurge a lot. I splurged more the first time I came to Korea because I had a lot more saved up, but now this time I have a lot less because I spent it on the first trip. And so, yeah, I have to be more careful and a lot less spending this round. But I have explored. But usually I'm going to H&M to get my clothing because that H&M actually fits my American body style type, American body shape. That's probably the word I'm looking for. I've researched a lot about restaurants, but no cafes. Uh-oh. Oh, do you mean like you've researched explain more, Lily. I'm going alone, would love a video on how to find friends. Yes, I have mentioned in the have you finished packing here? It's pointing at a phone and in the title it says making friends overseas. So I'd really recommend that you check out that video. Job trial went okay. I will hear from them soon. I'm glad your birthday went well, and I'm sorry to hear past birthdays were not so good. Sammy, you're always so sweet. Thank you so much for the love. I'm really glad that you're a I don't know what a job. I've never heard of job trial, but I'm glad that it went well. Yeah, you keep going back to memorization. Once you start, it's hard. So I never started because I just wanted to learn how to learn Hangul. What's the cheapest, best internet option for your apartment? So I've been very blessed that I've stayed in places that the internet is already like hooked up, set up. I stay in a lot of Airbnbs right now for this season of my life. So I will ask some of my friends what they picked for their internet options, but from the friend a few of the friends that I've had, a lot of them it's not, in my opinion, the most reliable, but they get, like, a unlimited data phone plan, and then they use that to connect their computer to, or they just go to cafes if they need internet, and they just use their phone if they need to. So, I'll look into that more, and I can get back to you, but those are the options that I know that my friends have done. I also wonder how everyone went to cafes all the time. Yeah, a lot of sharing at the cafes to save money. Yeah, in the US, you need a car. Oh my gosh, the US in comparison to here is insane. Frugal. Melvin, thank you. I just looked down there and I was like, that's a good one. That's one of the words I'm thinking of. I'm being very frugal. Correct. But yeah, in America, you need a car, and that is one of the reasons why I love Korea. Is I love that you don't have to drive everywhere, don't have to worry about traffic as much. It's, like, harder, in my opinion, to have a car in Korea than it is, like, convenient, unless you have someone that can drive you around and knows all the rules and regulations of where you can park and all that jazz. Like, it is complicated, and then paying for parking places. Ay, it's a lot. But in the US, if you don't have a car, a lot of people will be like, I wanna visit the US. I wanna go to the US. And then they think they could just take a bus everywhere. It's like, no, no, like Greyhound, you're not gonna take the Greyhound. Not many people at least take the Greyhound. Is the Greyhound, for those of you in America, is the Greyhound still like is Greyhound still running? Greyhound is like a public transportation bus that takes long distance for those of you guys who don't know. And then like within cities, like there's no buses unless you live in a major city. And then those buses are sketchy and I would not recommend taking them. I would rather you take an Uber, but then that gets super expensive. So you really need friends if you're gonna go you're gonna need friends to drive you around in America, or if you're gonna live in America for a longer period of time, you need a car. Like, cars are not optional in America, honestly, unless you live in a super major city, then the subway is usually manageable, but 안녕하세요. Da, 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 da. In November and December, Airbnbs are expensive. I'm thinking of staying in Korea for 4 months. I would love to know how you can stay for 4 months because the tourist visa is max 90 days. You cannot extend tourist visas at all. Airbnbs are bit of a ripoff, which sucks, but they are the best option in my opinion, and there's ways to kind of am I allowed to say this? I feel like I should be allowed to say this. You can live somewhere. Okay, Airbnb is expensive because one, Airbnb takes a huge chunk of the cut of whatever, someone puts up as like, this is how much I want you to pay. Airbnb takes a really big chunk of that. Add on top of that that they provide a lot. So they're going to provide, not always, but a lot of Airbnbs that are decent quality will provide the shampoo, provide the toilet paper, provide the bags, like the trash bags and like all of that stuff. So that will add into the price and it will make it more expensive, but usually Airbnbs are equivalent to like how do I say this? Like American prices because they know you would pay this over here, so I'm just going to charge it for you here. But what that apartment actually costs is incredibly cheap and they are making so much money. So it frustrates me a little bit, but if you stay somewhere and you like it and you wanna stay longer, you can always extend your stay and maybe message them personally and kinda figure something out. If you are staying somewhere for a longer period of time, if you have, like, friends that, like, speak that native language and can call or, like, you can try to do it yourself, you can actually kind of, like, barter with Airbnb, like, uh you can talk with them and kinda say like, "Hey, I'm staying here for so long. Do you mind giving me an extra discount?" They can actually discount it off. You can figure out a way to maybe yeah, just pay a lot less money. So don't think of the Airbnb price as the only price that you can pay. I'd rather continue this conversation over on Instagram. My Instagram is the exact same, thing as, my YouTube name. So if you want to message me on Instagram because you're interested in that, please do so because I'll give you like my more tips and tricks that I'd rather not just like post publicly on the internet because I don't want anyone coming at me and yelling at me. But they're more expensive than they should be, but I think they are worth it. Karen, you're staying for a month. Love it. Anytime is amazing. Though would really appreciate the sleeping and chilling today. I know quarantine is nice because you can recharge, but it's also like hellish because it gets so difficult to be stuck in one room by yourself. Foods. I researched like what I wanted to eat. Oh, but forgot to add cafes on the search. Yeah, d- the cafes. Oh my gosh, you're not even. You're gonna get overwhelmed. They're so many. Okay, Greyhound is still in existence. Yeah, there are so many cafes, honestly, every day. You can just type in cafe. Don't even add too much because, oh my gosh, thank you so much, Isaac. Thank you so much. You did not have to do that at all. I'm happy to help in any way that I can and give you guys the knowledge that I've got. So please ask anything. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. You guys, this is like when you watch my videos and you like see what I'm eating, like this really means like a lot to me. So thank you times 1,000, truly. Um, but yeah, you can just sit down at a cafe and or you could sit down in your house, type cafe near you. You're gonna get stressed out by like the ones just near you. Like it is next level here. Truly, I cannot thank you enough, Isaac. I know I already said it, but it really truly means a lot. Thank you so much. I just went to Emart for the first time and I was so overwhelmed. I know, right? Is it Millie? So much goodness and a lot of good two plus ones. If you guys don't know what like 2+1 is or 1+1, that means that if you buy one, you get one for free. 2+1 means if you buy two, you get one for free. That'll be at a lot of convenience stores. That'll be at a lot of streets, grocery stores, street. Why did I say street? Where did that even come? I mean, I guess on the street you will see signs. Maybe that's what I was thinking. That you'll see like 2+1, and that would mean that if you buy two, you get the third one free. Always keep an eye out for that because we always looking for the good deals, right? We're always looking to save money. Be moving to, oh, Jeannie, you're moving to Korea tomorrow. That's so exciting. Congratulations. So your ARC, I have heard 1 week and I have heard 2 months. What are you coming what visa are you coming on? Are you coming to be a teacher? What are you doing? Student? The sooner you can book an appointment at the embassy, I heard that can speed the process along. The embassy, though, usually you can reserve a spot online and you can cancel up to the day before at no penalty or like cost or anything like that to you. So if you want to do that, I've heard that if you can get into immigration, the embassy, all that jazz sooner, it helps speed up your ARC process, which I would recommend because your ARC is like what gives you life, allows you to order food online, allows you to literally do just about anything. Sign up for all these like accounts. You can get the Coov app. So maybe look into scheduling online and making your appointment just in case. You can always cancel it. But let me wait to see what visa you're coming on. Emart's the best. Thanks for calling me Sweet Megan. Means a lot to me. A job trial is a trial when you come to practice a job to see how well you would do before they. Oh, interesting. I don't know if I've experienced a job trial, but that sounds like a really smart decision for companies to do. How did you find your apartment? Airbnb. That's always how I find my apartments, and it helps me to like because what I've been doing a lot lately is finding like I move around, hop around because I've been going back and forth at Busan, just trying to get content. This trip is solely a content trip. So I'm just trying to research like places I should be going, like ask you guys over on Instagram what videos do you want to see. Like it's been so content focused that I've just tried to like figure out, okay, where are good cities to live? Because I'm going to do a video on Airbnb. I have now stayed in drum roll, please. I have stayed in, I think, 21, 22, 22. This is 22 different Airbnbs in Korea in the span of 6 months. 15 of them were within 2 months. So I understand Airbnbs quite well now, and I now have learned like where I want to live within Seoul as a result of all of the hopping and stuff like that. So that'll be a video to come to kind of talk about, where I would recommend you stay for what reasons and stuff like that. What's the best way to book a taxi in Seoul? Is there an app for that? And do you know any great yoga studios? I'm going to be honest with you, Mishi. I am very easily distracted. Like I can't do things that are very calming like that because my brain kind of like shoots around. So I'll ask some of my friends if they know of any good yoga studios. I just don't have like my mind. Yeah, I would get unless it's like constant moving. I just don't find it relaxing. I just find it like So I don't know anything about yoga at all. But taxi for sure. Kakao taxi. I really recommend you watch my how to take the taxi video. And I really, really, really recommend that you watch it like twice because I show you exactly how to call it. I talk about why I never think you should call taxis off the street unless you are with someone who is Korean and understands Korea really, really well. If they know Korea really well, they know how to speak Korean well. I don't ever want you to get ripped off. So I always recommend people use Kakao Taxi, which is an app. You do not need to have a bank account connected to Kakao Taxi to use it. I show in that video, you just need to like swipe over at this one point, and if you swipe over, it will show you on there like pay in the car, like you will pay a card in the car itself. So you can call from anywhere in all of Korea, you can call a taxi and pay. So definitely watch that video because that will help you out a lot. Headed to Atlanta. That's where I live. Well, my parents live. I guess I kind of live there now because they live there, and I want to live near my parents. Concert was always stop at H Mart. I think I missed something. I'm so sorry. H Mart though. We love a good H Mart stop. How do you sign up for quarantine hotel? We are planning a trip. You thankfully do not have to sign up. When you arrive in customs, they will just escort you according to what visa type that you have, and they will just take you. Okay, you're going to this is like the people going to quarantine area, and you will go to this direction. Basically, like there's no pre-signing up. There's like a list. They go through the list, and you're just gonna go to the next quarantine place on the list. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for the coffee. Is it Koa? Thank you so, so, so much. Where is my favorite place for coffee? Cafe. Idia is the favorite chain. If you're saying like nice cafe, ooh, I should definitely make you guys tell me in the comments right now. Have you seen? I made a cafe hopping video. This is from a while ago. They're mostly in Busan. Did you watch that? Yes or no? Are you interested in more like this is the place I'd recommend you go kind of videos? Because I can always do another like these are my favorite cafes of Seoul kind of video. You let me know what you would like. And my favorite like nicer coffee shop. Oh my gosh. I just love cafes. I go to so many that they all like mushed together. Some of my favorite coffee shops are still the one that I put in my Busan cafe hopping video. So I really recommend that you watch that. In Seoul, I just went to a place called I think it's called Happy Teddy Bear. Ooh, I think it's called Happy Teddy Bear. Can I look it up? Happy, sorry, you guys are shaking. Teddy Bear Cafe Seoul. Is it called Happy Teddy Bear? That doesn't look right. Teddy Bear. It is in Hongdae. When I find the name of the cafe, I'm going to link it down below. That was one of the cutest cafes I've gone to. Like the cake I got had this like frog, like frosting frog on it. It was like cute and it was really good. Like the pastries and stuff, sometimes the aesthetic is all you get, but it was really good as well. Do you have to quarantine at the government places if you have a 2-year visa? No, you can quarantine outside if you have a long-term visa. You can quarantine outside at like an Airbnb or like a family friend person's house. You do not have to stay in government facility quarantine unless currently you are coming from certain. There's like a specific list of countries you have to stay in government facility if you're coming from uh, a certain I don't know if it's changed, but as of right now, short-term visas, yes, mandatory government facility. Long-term visa, you can go elsewhere. Heading over in July to end of August, just watching when they will allow New Zealand travelers. We are currently a suspended country. Ugh, I'm so sorry. That is so frustrating. Everything right now is just getting like completely thrown out of whack, and now this new variant is just needs to get a different job, needs to get a life, needs to go elsewhere, you know what I'm saying? So I really hope that New Zealand can get off of the suspended uh, country list. I'm so sorry about that. But honestly, when I'm not in Korea, I just binge watch other videos and inspire myself, write down a little list of what I want to go to, and you'll eventually make it here yourself. I'll be coming on an F4 visa and I'll be teaching English. I'll be in Incheon. Nice, very exciting. So you asked me. Yes, so you're gonna be a teacher. So I have heard that teaching visas, they kind of like figure out your ARC for you, but it does take longer. if your school does it, it usually can take a few months. Whereas I've heard people will still go by themselves, even as teachers, and the process goes a lot faster because it's just in their hands. They're not like waiting on their school. So, yeah, I heard it can take 2 to 3 months if you wait on your school. You could always schedule like a meeting at like the embassy or the immigration and see if you could kind of speed the ARC process up. Ma, 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 ma. Hi, I'm going to Korea in December tomorrow. Do you think they will change the amount of days in quarantine? They are not changing the amount of days in quarantine. I think it will still be 10. It was 14, so at least it's 10. That change was like a few months ago now, I think. It's now 10 days. But quarantine is not going anywhere. It is not getting any shorter anytime soon, especially with this new variant. No, 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 no way. They just extended like mandatory quarantine, from my understanding. Are children under 2 years old required to wear a mask in South Korea? Everybody wears masks here. Um, as far as required, I don't believe that like a baby needs to wear a mask, but like a lot of people do. And like kids aren't even upset about it because it's just part of their culture, kind of like there are days when, before Rona, you needed to wear a mask, right? Because the air quality was so bad. So they're way more used to it, and they don't, it's not as like uncomfortable because they were more used to it anyways from the get-go. So I don't know factually what is like the age required that children are not allowed to wear masks, but they just wear them all the time because they're just used to them. Yes, please, favorite cafe video. Okay, on the list. You said unfortunately. Yes, you're correct. Okay. Cafe video would be awesome. Wonderful. Keeping it in mind. I already took a lot of videos at the cafes that I like, so that will be an easy video to create. Quarantine at Airbnb is best if you can, because you can leave your phone home and sneak out and go for a walk and grab food real quick. I have been told that they will randomly call your phone throughout the day now and FaceTime you and expect you to show where you are. Um, or maybe not FaceTime, maybe it was just like sending your location at that moment or something. But I have heard that they are getting really strict on that and they expect you to answer if they call because you'll have a government facility officer. Um, yeah, so I would also be careful because if you did have the virus and you do leave, that could really hurt people, but take advantage of the opportunity when you have to go take your COVID test. You have to go to these clinics and go to these testing locations to get tested. So that will be, you get to maybe walk there, get some fresh air as you walk because you have to go that way anyway. But yeah, I would just be really careful to not put other people at risk just in case. Is Korean food suitable for your taste or okay, I love Korean food. I absolutely love jigaes, which are like soups, kimchi jjigae, yukgaejang, sundubu jjigae, mandu jjigae. Oh, my friend just introduced me to my favorite. Kalguksu I think is what it's called. I love garlic, and it's just this garlicky soup from a specific restaurant that I can't remember off the top of my head. My absolute new favorite dish is that dish. Um, so I love Korean food and it is the cheapest. You get to save a lot of money if you eat at Korean restaurants. So I try to do that as much as possible is to eat at Korean restaurants because it is cheaper. It's funny, it's actually a lot more expensive in Seoul. I mean, not funny, it's understandable. It's the city, right? So the same dish in the Seoul is going to actually be more expensive than if you went to Busan and bought like that same dish. So that's part of the reason why I kind of go back and forth. Seoul, Busan is because it's so much cheaper to live in Busan. But yeah, I love Korean food. If you ever do want to explore or maybe get some like cuisine from your hometown, you can always go to Itaewon or Hongdae. They usually have some good options. Like I'll go to Travel Makers in Hongdae to get like a American breakfast fix. They actually deliver as well if you're living close enough. I used to live in Hongdae and I would get their food delivered. It was delicious. And it's a lot. They give you a lot. It's expensive, but they give you a lot of food. Thank you for your videos. You're honestly a lifesaver. I'm so happy to help, Adam. Please ask any questions and I will answer on here, or you can leave a comment in any of my videos and I'll try to reply back as soon as possible. Can you talk briefly about how to pay for things when you get out of the airport, like Visa, MasterCard, cash, like how you navigate around Korea to pay for things? Okay, yeah. So I always use my foreign credit card. I always have a credit card and a debit card that also have different like credit card companies, MasterCard, Visa, and always at all times have a credit card that gets me points as I travel, and I'll have a debit card that both have no international transaction fees. This is so important. If you're interested in specific credit cards, I could always send you links to the credit cards that I've used, but I've used the Capital One. Um, is it the Venture card? I believe. I'm like, where's my bag? I don't know where my bag is, but I use the Capital One. I've heard Chase, the travel one, is really good. And then I use something called Charles Schwab for my debit card. That would allow me to go to any ATM. They'll say, oh, there's this much of a fee if you would like to pull money. Do you still want to pull money? And I'm like, yes, because at the end of the month, I get refunded all of the fees. So I get like $20 to $30 just whoop, shows up in my bank account because it's refunding me all of the fees that I spent. So I've never been in a circumstance other than like one or two times I've gone out to eat at restaurants and then they didn't take either of my cards. So I had to pay in cash. I've never been in like a situation where none of my cards work, but definitely on the daily, a card of mine will not work. And so if I'm at a restaurant or something and it doesn't work, I will go run to like an ATM nearby and pull cash. The problem is I might be running to like four different ATMs because sometimes certain ATMs don't accept foreign cards. It's important to have cash on you at all times for numerous reasons. You can only fill up your T Money card if you have cash. So if you maybe, I don't know, like me, get a little stranded and your T Money card runs out and you don't have your debit card, so you can't pull cash, you end up walking really far or having to take a taxi because you don't have any way of getting there otherwise. So foreign cards are usually okay. It's just a matter of having more than one. If you don't have more than one, you will find yourself in situations where you can't pay for something. Cash, you can always bring cash and exchange a little bit in the airport. You're not going to get as much money. Like the exchange rate isn't going to be as good if you were to just wait, go to an ATM and pull out of the ATM. That's going to save you a lot more money. But personally, I've never had any difficulties where I couldn't pay in any way, shape, or form. There was always some way that I could pay, but I had cash on me because there have been a few instances. I even in that video where I ate alone, none of my cards worked, so I had to pay in cash. So always have cash on you, always. Ryan, thank you so, so, so much. I'm so glad that my videos have been so helpful and I will continue to make them. I'm happy to help. You guys are literally so kind. Thank you so much for all of the generous love. Um, you also asked about navigating in Korea. Neighbor maps. I would really recommend, I've mentioned this video a lot actually, so I'm going to quickly link it here below. I have mentioned this video, I think like multiple times. This is the video that links to all the apps, like apps to make friends, apps to learn language, apps to get around South Korea. It's like the go-to apps that I use almost every day. So I'd really recommend you check out this video if you have any questions about navigating, making friends, getting around Korea. Open this video up in like maybe a side tab right now so you don't forget. Take a screenshot. I really, really recommend that you watch that video. And then get into my travel series because I teach you how to use the taxi, how to take the bus, how to use a T Money card. So I would recommend you check out my playlist, like my travel playlist as well. Using cash and Visa all the time over here. Yep. Yeah, I already know. Oh, and also make sure you get, if you are going to go on a big trip and you're going to spend, like if you have to quarantine, that's a lot of money. Like quarantining in a government facility or an Airbnb, big chunk of money. If it's government facility, you're going to have to spend like $1,000 as of right now. So if you get one of these cards that says like, hey, if you spend $3,000 within 3 months, you get this huge cash bonus. So buy your ticket, get that card, buy your ticket to Korea with it, buy your Airbnb with it, and you're basically almost there and you get a few $100 like for free. I really recommend doing some research and getting like a travel card. I I have not paid for so many things because of my beautiful, wonderful travel card. So really recommend that, by the way, if you're coming over here. I already know wearing a mask for my 2-year-old is not gonna happen. He's gonna rip that thing off. Kind of worried about it. I I wouldn't worry too much about it because it is a kid, and so they understand, like, a lot of kids, like, usually, it kinda falls off their face a little bit. Um, but yeah, I mean, I don't exactly have a 2-year-old of my own, so it's definitely it's hard for me to say, but since he is young, if he was like 6, 7, 8, people are gonna be like, "What the heck?" But since he's so young, I really do think you're gonna be okay, and I wouldn't worry too much as long as maybe he, like, is holding it or you get one of those, like, little neck straps. Usually, they have, like, straps that when you take your mask off, it kinda, like, hangs just to show that you're not carrying, like, at all. Like, you are worried about it. You're not just, like, coming here and, like, "Screw it. He doesn't need a mask." Just to show that you're, like, caring and you're like, "It's just he won't keep it on." So, the little neck strap might be, worth investing in. What are the bank cards that they don't make you pay? So, just look for any card that says no foreign transaction fees. A lot of those are gonna be travel accounts. Again, Charles Schwab is my favorite card. I've used that the most for debit, purposes, and then Capital One and Chase both have these travel related cards that don't have any foreign transaction fees. Kimchi jjigae is the best during the wintertime. Kimchi jjigae, I love it all time, all year round. I love kimchi jjigae so much. Ba, ba, ba. How do you manage with the rates of your credit cards? I am not someone to talk about the rates side of it because I never have debt. I always like save up and I never spend money that I don't have. Personally, I'm just very blessed that my parents gave me a good foundation to do that. And I'm just a huge saver. I feel quite anxious if I have debt. So yeah, so I'm not someone to talk about the rates with, but it's all listed on the website. Wow, you should try Tungchun Kalguksu. Kalguksu. I don't know what oh, you typed it out. Um, I don't know what tungchon. I usually like kalguksu. I don't know what that is. Tell me more. Tell me more. Tell me more. Did you get very far? Okay. Is there a bank that doesn't take fees in Germany? I am pretty positive that um do you mean is there a bank in Germany or you are in Germany and you're looking for a bank that doesn't can you explain a little bit? Oh, I mean, you said down there. I mean outside of Germany. Is there a bank that doesn't take fees outside of Germany? The card that I'm talking about with the Charles Schwab, it is just no international transaction fees, period. I hope that answers your question, but both of those cards, no international transaction fees. I don't know about getting if it's connected to Germany or not. I'm not sure how that works, but Charles Schwab is, I'm pretty sure, like an international bank. I've watched the Busan Cafe video twice actually, but would love to see a video on Seoul cafes, especially the more unusual ones. I got you. I got you, Mishi. I got you. I'm so excited. I'm glad that you guys like the cafe videos. I love, love, love me a good cafe. It's just when I uploaded that, obviously I had way less subscribers, but when I uploaded that, it didn't perform well. So I kind of thought that maybe you guys just wanted more information. But lately, when I post more vloggy type stuff, it's doing well. So that is exciting for me because I love vlogs as well. So you guys tell me, do we still like the vlogs? I feel like I try to still add information into the vlogs. So you guys tell me what you think. How much cheaper would you say living in Ensa and I'm not good unless it's in Hangul. I'm not very good at the romanization of words, Korean words, compared to Seoul. let's look up where this is that you just said. I believe. Let's see. Did you? Right. Someone asked me before about an area near Seoul, and I don't remember if it was this. Okay, so it is a bit south. Oh, it's down near Pyeongtaek. Okay. Yeah, so literally the farther. Hello, hello. I'm so glad my videos have helped you. Also. I'm really glad. Hello. Thanks for joining. Um, Anywhere outside of Seoul, from what I have seen, it is cheaper. Just overall, Seoul, it's the big major city. Everybody wants to come here. Just like New York City, like they're allowed to raise the prices. They can because almost the entire country feels I feel like lives in Seoul because there's so many people here. So anywhere outside, it will be quite inexpensive in comparison to Seoul. I have not been here, so I don't know for sure, but I do know that it's a great way to also save money, kind of. You can come to Seoul quite cheaply still. My friend lives in Pyeongtaek, and she said it only takes her like a 45-minute like train ride to get into, and it's not even all that expensive. But it's just the matter of like if you were to just live in Seoul anyway, you don't have to worry about the traveling, but you're gonna pay less in overall general, like rent and all of that stuff. You can get a nicer place for cheaper. Food should be cheaper, all that good stuff. So it will be cheaper than Seoul for sure. How much cheaper? Will it be noticeably cheaper? It depends on what your lifestyle is. Do you enjoy like, what is, like, a good enjoyable day to day for you? Are you gonna be outside in nature? Do you wanna go into Seoul all the time? Um, I believe you're the one that said that your wife is getting, like, a teaching job there, so if she is gonna be teaching, she's gonna be quite heavily busy, and then they get paid really well, and usually teaching, jobs, they will pay for housing or at least give you, like, a stipend to pay towards your housing. So overall, usually teachers can save so much money because they are getting paid so much. They pay for like housing and all that stuff. They can save up a lot. So it's a really good gig. And if you're not in Seoul, you're going to be saving even more money because on the day-to-day life, things will be cheaper. Like if you go out to eat, it'll be a little bit cheaper. Coffee's actually a little bit cheaper. It's crazy to go to like Idia outside of Seoul and then go even in Seoul and see it gets more expensive, which is crazy. Uh, it's a type of kalguksu with. Oh, that sounds delicious. My family is from Ansong. Is located near Pyeongtaek. Yeah, it's pretty cheap. Cool, cool. Thank you so much, Peter, for the information. Just wanted to say hello. Hi. I found your channel recently. I've been enjoying your content. I'm so, so, so glad. Is it I wanna pronounce names well, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to. Myla Malaya Ray. Can you, like, type out how to say your name? Because I love to say people's names correctly. But so glad that you found my videos and glad that you're enjoying the content. Thank you so much. Might be in quarantine during Christmas. Is there any related to Christmas after, like so I think I haven't been here past Christmas and like the coldness season, but I would assume that Christmassy stuff might stay up until the new year. But I'm not the person to ask if anybody has been in Korea. Does the Christmas goodies stay up until like January 1st? Because from my understanding, Korea doesn't care a lot about Christmas itself. It's not that they're against it, they just don't like celebrate it a lot. And so they don't really go all out for Christmas. And so I feel like maybe the month of December is considered, like the Christmassy month. And they would keep the lights up for the New Year's. If anybody's in Korea and has been in Korea come January 1st, did they take them down on, December 26th? What's happening? What I meant was there's a German bank that don't take international fees or ATM fees. Like if is there a German bank here in Korea? I'm sorry, I wanna make sure I understand. I do not know what company any of the banks are. I'm not even paying attention to, like, what the fee is. The only thing I know is don't go to a convenience store to pull money if you do have to pay that transaction fee, way more expensive. It's much better if you go to those ATMs that are, like, within a bank. Like, there's the bank, there's an ATM within the glass doors right outside. Usually pays a lot less, or usually the fee is a lot cheaper, and there's a bank called KB that usually is the one that works the most. But I don't pay attention to, like, where the banks are from or, like, how much the fee is because I just get all of those fees, like, back to me at the end of the month. I heard mandatory quarantine for all travelers into Korea is extended for 3 more. It is. That is what I have heard as well. I've heard mandatory quarantine. I'm not surprised at all, though, because it's the holiday season and it's Christmas. So many people are leaving Korea right now, to go home to see their family because they really couldn't go last year. The airports are not busy, but flights right now are pretty packed because so many people couldn't go home last year. So they're going home this year and they're just kind of paying the price with having to quarantine when they get back. Eating Korean is a lot cheaper than, yes, eating Korean food in Korea is significantly cheaper than Western food. Western food, it hurts my soul when I know that I paid $20 for, like, 6 bagels and a thing of cream cheese. Like, well, it could have been worse. Those are some good bagels. But anyways, um, going out to, like, eat Mexican food, my heart hurts when like, look at the final total, but it is nice to splurge sometimes when you're just, like, really craving a different kind of food, but yeah, eating Korean food in Korea is so cheap. I'm traveling to Korea next April. Do you think we'll have mandatory quarantine? I don't see quarantine going away anytime soon. They might shorten it, they might come up with a few rules. Mandatory quarantine for all people, I could see that getting lifted for those who are vaccinated in Korea, but if you're vaccinated outside of Korea, I don't see that changing anytime soon. Um, it is, again, for, like, safety reasons. It's not, because they don't want people, well, I don't know if they want people coming in or not. From the way that they handle things, it seems like they don't, but at the end of the day, I know that it's coming from a safety point of view. I'm going to Busan in 2 months. Oh, February 22, exciting. I am in Korea right now. Will I be in Korea in February of 2022? I am not totally sure. I'm still trying to figure out my visa thing. So I have to go back to America, period. I'm coming back to Korea. Like, I plan to live here for a year or two, maybe more. It all depends on what visas I can get, what jobs I can get. If my YouTube channel grows, that would help me out immensely with figuring things out. But because I am so small still, it is a little bit difficult. But I should be here February. I should be here in February. But I love Busan. I honestly like it more than Seoul, but Seoul is just where things are at. So I'm in Seoul. My community is here. My church is here. Uh, Everyone else is here. These are the where people wanna watch videos and stuff, so even if my heart is in Busan, I like Busan more. Seoul it is. Oh, hi, Decane again. Hello, good to see you again. Christmas in Korea is mainly for couples, not so much for family. Yeah, it's really just for taking pictures and looking at pretty lights for, like, and it's not even as, like, Christmas in Korea isn't as, like, intense as, like, in America. In America, people will decorate their own homes with lights, and my parents and I will, like, drive around and look at all the lights. There's no front yard for anyone to, like, hang up lights. "Oh, hey again, William. Good to see you." Um, so it's just kind of like, yeah, it's different. Like, shops will have little Christmas lights, so I still like it, but it's not as much as, like, you're driving down the street and you see this one family, like, went all out in their front yard, and you can type in, like, "best Christmas lights in Atlanta" and drive around and see all these, like, songs, like, the lights that go to the music and all that stuff. So, thank you so much, also for coming. You have to go to work, that's totally fine. I'm so happy to help. More videos to come. Good to see you though. Da, 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 da. So if my 2-year-old son and I won't be vaxxed, will it be a problem, say, going grocery shopping together? Um, if it's just the two of you and it's a small kid like that, I think that you're gonna be okay because you're just gonna be probably, I don't know, it's just the two of you. If you're going with somebody else, um, they would have to be vaccinated. So you yourself are fine. They're not even, having children. I think in February though, they're starting to kind of say it's mandatory for teens to get vaccinated, but since he's so young, he doesn't really count as like the unvaxxed person. So you yourself, you can go places by yourself if you're unvaccinated, but if you were to go with anybody else as of right now, if you were to go with anybody else anywhere, they would have to be vaccinated for you to go together. I'm so glad that you find, is it Maya? I'm so glad that you find my Q&A super helpful. Happy to help. And I will be going soon. Usually I stay for 2 hours, but I have a lot that needs to happen today. So I'm going to be leaving here in a few minutes. It's pronounced Malaya, like the you put the little laughy face. I love it. Malaya. Beautiful. Malaya. Thank you so much for typing it out. I hate saying people's names wrong. The bagels. If you guys are looking for good bagels, everything bagel in Hongdae. That guy knows what's up. The jalapeno cheese, it wasn't spicy at all. It was delicious, 112%. It's quarantine still days as of right 10 days as of right now. Yes, quarantine is still 10 days. If any plan about leaving Korea and traveling other countries in Asia someday. I used to live in China, miss it dearly, loved living in China. Also went to Thailand, enjoyed a trip there, could never live there, just it's not for me. I think because I'm trying to find a place that I feel really comfortable and I'm trying to learn Korean so that my time here can be uh, easier, I guess. Like I enjoy knowing the language where I go. So I will always learn basic sentences, but it's hard when I'm a people person and a talker. It's like hard for me to live somewhere where I can't talk, like, even to, like, the sales associate that's trying to help me very well, and it's, like, in broken Korean, like, so I'm really focused right now in Korea, trying to learn Korean, trying to figure out if I can get a visa that allows me to stay in Korea and work here at the same time is hard, if I don't wanna be an English teacher, and if I am gonna be an English teacher, I'm technically not allowed to do YouTube, which is why I am not an English teacher. Technically, a lot of people still do it, but technically, you're not supposed to have more than one job. If you're in Korea as an English teacher, you're supposed to, like, sign a contract saying this is the only job you'll do. So, am I gonna go other places? Yes, I love to travel. COVID is just, like, not a good time to just explore for the heck of it and try different countries, like, it's just not a good time for me to do that. I will eventually go other places, but right now I'm kind of hoping to stay in Korea, build up a lot of, yeah, subscribers and build like an audience that also loves Korea, share that love for Korea, and then kind of see where it takes me. Because if my YouTube channel were to get big enough that I could go somewhere else and not lose like, a bunch of followers or have my videos get absolutely no views because I'm making all these videos about how to in Korea and then I'm, suddenly somewhere else. So, Korea for now, very much focused on it. Don't think I'm going to go anywhere else anytime soon other than back to America and kind of do that a lot. Are there any tips to prevent or limit taxi drivers from overcharging you? 10,000%. Use Kakao Taxi. Go to the video that I linked up above that teaches you how to use Kakao Taxi. And if you use Kakao Taxi, you already see how much the ride should be. It's not like Uber, you pay for the taxi. Like for me, I'm not paying. Like when I hit request, it will say exactly how much you will pay. Here, it's going to say, oh, it's going to be about this much money. So it could be like a 1001 up or down, kind of. It could be a little cheaper, a little bit more expensive. But if you use that app, they know that you saw the price. So that's why I tell people don't like hail them off the street because they think And often, as a foreigner, they don't know what it should be. So they'll turn on the little system that makes the charging go faster, like it's nighttime, but it's not really nighttime. Or they've hacked the system a little bit so they can overcharge you a lot. So be careful and just use the app so that they know you already saw the price, so they can't even overcharge you if they did. But still be, cautious and look and see like, oh, is that thing going up a little too fast? And if for some reason you get there, your phone said it was going to be 10,000 won, and suddenly the guy's like 35,000 won, something's wrong. And in that case, you can call someone or like take pictures as the charge is going like to like you want to take pictures of the box. You can take a video of the box to show how fast it's going and try to get a picture. I know it sounds weird. There's going to be like a driver's license up on the window shield. It should have his face, have his name. Take a picture of that. Try to get a picture of the guy's face itself. I know all of this sounds incredibly weird. And get a picture of the license plate because you're going to want to turn them into the police. And if you use your credit card, never pay cash. Use your credit card. Always get the receipt if you take a taxi, especially if you feel like you were wrongly charged. And yeah, help get that guy in trouble because he should not be doing that. And help other foreigners, in the future as well. Best places to visit in Korea. Definitely. I linked some places. I'm going to make a video on this of the like weird, not as well known places that you have to go to because there are a few that come to mind that people don't usually go to. So I will make a video on that. Keep on the lookout because all of them are on my phone. My phone is up here. I'm using it as like a little additional light. So you can either message me on Instagram and ask, or you can wait for that video to come out. Doing quarantine in Taiwan now. It sucks. I'm so sorry. Ace in Asia. That's a fun name, though. Why do you have Ace in Asia? Thanks for a good time and work. Have a good one. Thank you so much. After getting out of quarantine, do we still have to get tested within 24 hours again? If you're in government facility quarantine, they will test you before you leave. If you're outside of government facility quarantine and you're like in an Airbnb, you have to go to the testing center yourself. And it's like when you arrive and when you're about to leave. So if you're saying you get out of quarantine and you have to go get tested, that is not true. You will get tested in quarantine and then you're done. Does that make sense? I hope I answered your question correctly. Some areas in Busan reminds me of San Francisco. Yeah, do you guys hear it? Maybe you can't hear it. The like dryers, when they're done, they like sing this little song, and there's a dryer upstairs where I live. So it always makes me laugh because it sings such a long song. um, San Francisco, yeah. I've been to San Francisco. My family is from upstate California, and so I've been there, but I'm trying to think. Yeah, it has similar vibes. I guess like the bridge and stuff like that. It's just that the bridge I'm thinking of it's like you don't really need to take the bridge. The bridge is kind of like I would say probably there more for aesthetic than like actual trying to cross two sides. But yeah, I could see the vibes. I could see the vibes. But anyways, I am so thankful for you guys to come on here, especially so many of you last minute when I did not plan this live at all. I just was like, sure, we're going live today. But I hope you guys found this video helpful. I do have always in the link of the description, I have all the good links if you ever want to support this channel, or if you want to know like what are my go-to things that I buy off of Amazon for any of my trips. I would check that out down there. But I'm going to head out of here. It was so much fun to hang out with you guys. Please, again, hit up the next live if you have any other questions or leave them in the comments of any of these videos. And I will see you in the next one. I'm sorry we didn't go 2 hours this time, but your girl's got a busy day. So I will see you guys in the next video. And until then, annyeong. Stay safe out there, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.